Is it? Oh. So, is everyone ready to have their pants scared off? Here goes nothing. Here's a story I can relate to. Check it out. There was an old farmer in Arizona who owned the best farm in the area. Everybody said his crops were the best, and people came from all over to buy their goods from him. Whenever people asked him how he was able to grow such good quality crops, the old farmer would say it was all down to his scarecrow. I think I know where this is going. That old scarecrow of his, that old scarecrow is the one I had to think, said the farmer. He makes sure no crows or cutters or pests come near my crops. The old farmer had built that scarecrow himself, and it was a fearsome sight. He spent months working on it to make sure it was scary as possible. He knew how important it was to keep the pests away from his crops. So he gave it an enormous pair of straw arms that stretched out around 6 feet and big long legs that made it as tall as a tree. But the scariest thing about the scarecrow was its head. The farmer carved it himself out of a huge pumpkin he spent countless days and nights perfecting his design until... He spent days and nights perfecting his design until it was perfect. The scarecrow's face and head was so grotesque and ugly that even he was sometimes scared to look at it, but it was very effective, screaming away every rodent and bird that ventured near. Sounds like Tiffany. The neighboring farm was owned by two young men who were brothers, oh thank goodness, named Josh and Harold. They were lazy and never did much around the farm, which resulted in their crops being bad. No, that doesn't sound very good at all. Irresponsible little twerps. They were jealous of the old farmer's success and were plotting against him. If they could drive him out of business, they could take over his farm and make more money. The green stuff. So, one night, the brothers decided to sneak into the old farmer's land they stole his prized scarecrow and brought it back to their old house, where they stuffed it into an old closet so no one would ever find it. The next day, the farmer woke up and found his hideous scarecrow missing, and all of his crops being eaten by rats and crows. He fell into his knees and cried, crying over a scarecrow. What a wuss. Knowing that his farm would soon be out of business. Meanwhile, the brothers, Josh and Harold, were watching from their own property and couldn't help laughing. Laughing? You stinking jerks. Out loud, LOL, when they saw the old man's tears of grief. You, butt wipes. Hearing the laughter, the old farmer came over and asked them if they knew what happened to his scarecrow. The brothers looked at him right in the eye and said they had no idea where his precious scarecrow might be. But I'll go out of business if I have to sell my farm. I'll go out of business and I'll have to sell my farm if I can't find my scarecrow, said the farmer. Josh just laughed in his face, saying, "That's just your tough luck, isn't it?" Talk about tough luck. I'm a plastic freak. Sucks to be you, giggled Harold. The old farmer walked slowly back into his house. He heard his head hanging down in defeat and depression. Poor guy. That night, Josh and Harold had trouble sleeping, not because they felt any remorse, because they're jerks, but because they couldn't get the image of the scarecrow's horrible, twisted face out of their minds. They're afraid of a sack of straw. Well, I'm a sack of plastic, so go figure. They decided they would never be able to sleep as long as that ugly Pumpkinhead was in their house. So they got up and dragged the scarecrow out of the closet. They better give it back to that farmer. Harold took the baseball bat and smashed the scarecrow's head to pieces. I'm lost for words. Until all that was left was the little bits of pumpkin strewn around the floor. The brothers swept up the pumpkin head pieces and threw them in the trash. Then they went back to bed and were soon fast asleep, having put all thoughts of that disgusting scarecrow out of their heads. Sometime after midnight, Josh and Harold were awoken by the sounds of scratching and clawing at their bedroom. Did you forget to put the dog out?" asked Harold sleepily. We don't have a dog," stammered Josh. Suddenly the bedroom door burst open, and a solitary long straw arm shaked in through the opening. Then a second arm thrashed around, following the two long stick legs. The two brothers were frozen in fear and could only look with horror as the headless scarecrow's body rose up on its long stick legs and its long arms reached out for them in the darkness. Harold felt a cold, swiny straw close around his ankle and scream loud screamed as loud as he could. Awesome. He begged his brother Josh to help him, but Josh was already running out of the bedroom, fleeing in terror. He ran down the hallway, crashed through the front door, and out into the moonlight road. He ran as fast as his legs could carry. Maybe he needs to have his legs cut off, like me in Child's Play 2. Puffing and panting and screaming at the top of his voice as he passed his neighbor's house. He saw the old farmer standing at his gate. In the moonlight, he could see the farmer staring at him with a strange smile on his face. Uh-oh. Josh kept running, his bare feet against the rough gravel road. He glanced back over his shoulder and saw something that scared him to his very soul. Soul? No, wait. Save it for the end. He saw the scarecrow running along the road close behind him. Uh-oh. And it was gaining on him closer and closer. And that wasn't all he saw. He noticed that the scarecrow had a brand new head, and it looked a lot like Harold. Well, that's the story. That actually is a different story from the one I heard on YouTube. But, oh wait, and it doesn't even bear the name. What is this? Anyway, I'm signing off. And by the way, go see my new movie, Curse of Chucky. It didn't get released in theaters, but it went straight to DVD. It's pretty awesome for a movie that went straight to DVD. See ya, suckers!